That was smooth. Smooth as a baby's bottom. That was so smooth.
It's showtime, folks.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name is Greg, right here, and I am ready for some great music because that's the aim, that's the goal, right? Whether it's stuff from Kofi or it's John giving me stuff, and Andy giving me stuff, I want to hear something great and with an open mind, right? Yeah. And so I'm going into this episode with an open mind because another copy request is coming my way, and this is from Rick Preston. Rick, how you doing? This is your first copy request. I wish I had like a bell, like ding 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 ding, first time requester on Kofi. And so yeah, so welcome aboard. And you want me to listen to a song called 23 Minutes in Brussels, and it's by a band called Luna. So I've never heard of the. I gotta tell you, the song title sounds really intriguing, though. Sounds like a book or a movie. Like a mystery or something. So really intrigued. And here's the thing. Actually, if I just said I didn't know the band name, I don't know their stuff. I've heard of the name, and I've heard of their name through this channel. Over time, people have mentioned Luna. Why haven't I checked any of their stuff out? I, you know, I got nothing. So I've been waiting for your request, Rick. That's what that's what explains it. So Luna, 23 minutes in Brussels. Um, let me stop chattering and let me get into the song. That was smooth. Smooth as a baby's bottom. That was so smooth. I know it's 8 minutes long, 6 minutes long. That was 8 minutes. I gotta bring this back. I gotta bring it back. I love this guitar part right here. It's gritty. And then just took a stroll down the street.
Left my hotel in the city. Everything was clear and set. You were on your way and sitting pretty. That was just a bait and switch. Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer. Tell me, do you miss me?
When was this made? When was this made? It's got to be the 90s. It has the 90s feel to it. It sounds just a little bit like Ian Brown, of just a bit, and that softness, the soft sort of delivery. Um, and that part right there, that that reminds me of the Soup Dragon song. Uh, I'm free to do what I want any old time. You know I'm free to do what I want any old time. Love me, hold me. Yeah. So you're like, yeah, we know it. Well, that was that. So did this come before that or after? I think the Soup Dragon song was like 91, right? 92, 91. Wow. I mean, hey, it's cool. This came after. That's great. This song, what a vibe, what a chill vibe. This is so interesting. Wow.
23 minutes in Brussels. Why can't they just leave us alone? Are we gonna get into a tussle? Can I take an airplane home? Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer. Tell me, do you miss me?
Oh, this is so good. Oh no, I want like 5 more minutes on this at least. Oh, this is so good. Just what a slow burn of a jam. Just the vibe and just the space and just allowing just the guitar just to do whatever he wants. He's feeling it. He's feeling it. Yeah. Bring it back just a little bit. feedback. No, don't end. No, don't. No. 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 Ah, man, I would have that on circular. There's a lot of songs like lately, um, where people set them up so they just loop over and over and over. It could be a 3 minute song and they have it like on an hour loop. Some of them have it like on 3 hours. You ever see those? Yeah, it's interesting. This they could put on they could put on a loop for like 24 hours. Oh my Lord, this is so good. It's a masterpiece. It is. This meets masterpiece criteria. It absolutely does. It's got for me, for me, it's got all the ingredients. It's got it all. Yeah. It's got the space, it's got the guitar, it's got the guitar tone, it's got the guitar grit. It's got I said space. It's and within that space, it's just not trying to fill in too much, but just enough, and it's a feel. The guitar riffs, the solos, the just whatever you call it, it was just continuous. It was just a feel. It was just a vibe. It was like a pot of wonderful hot stew or something that just was simmering on the stove, and you just kind of, the pot, you lift it up, the cover, not the pot, you can burn your hands, and there's a waste in your nose. I mean, it was just like that's guitar that was just wafted up. It was just so good, you know. And I love food, so anything that's made so well, I call my dinners masterpieces when they deserve it. This absolutely is a masterpiece. I love that melody line. I guess I'm. Let me say stuff on the other side. Ah, this is so good.
Rick.
Yeah, I don't use the word masterpiece lightly. I don't. I don't. I mean, I'm always, I think, the glass half full, so that I give all songs a real decent shot. So if I don't like something, usually it's not my cup of tea and whatever, but I'm trying to pick something out. And usually songs that don't really grab me, there's always something. There usually is the bass, the drum, or both, or this and that, But there was that something, whatever, that just didn't grab me. It's not, something I would be gravitating to and all like that and all that crap. Not this song. This song is masterpiece. It lifted me. It was achingly beautiful, in some spots there, and with that guitar that he just was. It was such a feel guitar, guitar licks, riff, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he was doing like, he was definitely being innovative, and he would just, it wasn't a repeat. I mean, there was that sort of repeat rhythm thing, dun, 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 you know um but within that, in the space that he was allowed to just kind of do his thing, and it was beautiful. In the beginning it was gritty, and I love that. And then they changed like the tone. It became like a different tone, different sound a bit, as he was kind of, it was a little bit more out there. I think in the beginning it was kind of almost like right there, right in your ear. And then, this was a little more spaced out, like more space sounding, just a little bit more airy, and just out there. And I just loved it, and the drumming, again, that little melody, say a prayer. I think about tell me, do you miss me? Say a prayer. Yeah, I mean, but just that. Da da da, so simple. Uh, It really was like as soon as that after that beginning was over, which I love that the drumming and that guitar kind of again the gritty, and then it gets into this almost as though like got out of bed, combed your hair, kind of like got through your first cup of coffee with all that guitar and the drumming, it's kind of like whatever, and then you hit the streets and the air is like it doesn't have to necessarily be a sunny day, but it's clear, it's not raining, and you're just going down the sidewalk and you're just going along your merry way. And it was just a movement. That's why I picture myself. So I was kind of like going, not that I walk like this, but if you ever see an animated character kind of with their hands walking like this and their legs are kind of going like this too on the sidewalk. Oh man, it was it was just so I love this song. So I need to talk a little bit about after I did the reaction, after my reaction, before I got back on the camera here. Um, so what happened was that Rick actually, and Rick, I hope it's okay that I say this, but because now I actually know, now I know. Um, Rick's original request was 24 minutes in Brussels. And so, and with the link. So when I clicked on the link, it brought me to the Luna YouTube channel. Now, usually when I'm given a link to a band or an artist's YouTube channel, that's danger for me because I've used them before and I think 99% of the time I've gotten blocked. It's not worth the risk. So that was the one red flag. The other red flag was that up and down there were other uh you know other song versions, okay, like uploaded by fans, but their song titles said 23 minutes in Brussels, like all of them. The only one that said 24 minutes was the one that Rick gave me, that link. So I thought it was a mistake. So I let Rick know, and I said, I'm going to use the 23 minutes in Brussels, fan version. And he's like, oh, fine, So that's all cool. And why am I bringing this up? It kept bothering me that it was from the Luna YouTube channel. And it wasn't from someone, it wasn't from like, Joe Blow. It was from Luna page. So I clicked on it. This is after I just reacted to this version that I'm talking about. I then jump into the 24 minutes in Brussels version. That version is different. It's very similar, but it starts off with a very kind of soft type of guitar playing, like beautiful notes, like beautiful. Not to say this version wasn't beautiful that I just reacted to, but it was just softer. And then the drumming comes in, and then you got this, and then you got that gritty sort of guitar playing. But it was just it seemed like these guys, what they uploaded was just a whole different version. It wasn't like it didn't seem like well, they're just including certain parts that they left out in the 23 minutes in Brussels. Like it's a whole different version. I'm really intrigued by that because it's 2 minutes longer and it's got this it's got this other type of like Pearson type of guitar or something, almost like a Tomorrow Never Knows electric guitar, like sort of electronic, like psychedelic sound that comes up later in the song. Um, yeah, I wrote down a couple things too with that version. I think that was it. Um, the tone too is even much more like clearer and sharper too, of the guitar that kind of just does all the solo stuff like that. That's wild. So I'm going to include the link for that version, so you can click on that, and I definitely recommend that people check out that 24 minutes in Brussels version that's sitting on the Lunar YouTube channel page. Um, yeah, I just had to say that. So yeah, I mean nothing really. Yeah, and then there's that whole the Soup Dragons. I think that's right. That's the name of the group that said, hold me, love me, because I'm free to do what I want. You know, I love that. I love that. And I'm thinking now that this song came after the Soup Dragons, because when I was pulling up information about the band and the song, whatever, I saw 1995. It just kind of like, Sometimes I just can't. I can try to turn my head, but sometimes I just see things. And so I saw that. And I think the Soup Dragons was 1991, 1990, something like that. So anyway, no big deal. It's cool. Yeah, you know, I think that's kind of cool. It's fun. I like that kind of stuff. I mean, if it took over the whole song, it was the whole song, but that's not what we're talking about. Um, okay. And yeah, and I stand by my Ian Brown. Actually, the 24 minutes in Brussels version that I was just talking about on the Luna YouTube channel page, his voice sounds so much more like Ian Brown. Like I was I'm like, oh my God, like it's almost as though he was actually singing a song. And it had more of a Stone Roses overall feel. That version. Yeah. I sensed a little bit, in this one too. But so I do wonder, like, when they made that, they purposely made that version and purposely I think I think, I don't, they probably did it in later years. I don't know if anyone knows about that. And Rick, maybe you know about it, like um, more information about the 24 minutes in Brussels version. Please let me know. With that said, let me get into information here. Overall, man, this is a great song. This version, the version that I just checked out, the 24 minutes one, I mean, it's just, that one is fantastic too. A great song is a great song. So let me see, where do I go? What do I do? So Luna, let me actually check out the wiki page about the band. Luna is an American rock band. Yeah, I'm thinking, man, they're like UK, European, somewhere, American rock band formed in 1991 by singer and guitarist Dean Wareham after the breakup of. Okay, I just did a Galaxy 500 song. That's Rick. You put your request in earlier this month. I don't think you knew about the Galaxy 500 song. I don't think you did. Unless you saw it on the KoFi site. I don't know. Let me know. Because that's just too coincidental. That's crazy. I really like that song. I think I love that song, the Galaxy 500 song. I'm really bad with song titles. So, but yeah. Wow. Okay. Described by Rolling Stone as the best band you've never heard of. I believe it, man. I'm a believer. Sold, you know? One listen, well, not two listens, but two different versions. I'm sold, man. Wow. So this is 1995, Penthouse. It's their third album, and it was ranked 99th best album by Rolling Stone and 99th best album of the 1990s by Rolling Stone. I don't know when they put that out, but and this was track number 5 on that album. Um, so here's another really interesting thing too. Um, when I was typing in 23 minutes in Brussels, what also came up was, and this is wild, but what came up was an article about the band Suicide, and it was a concert album that they put out, and the name of the concert album is 21 and a half minutes in Berlin slash 23 minutes in Brussels. And this is really fascinating. And I wonder if it's actually behind the meaning of the song written by Luna, because they talk about 23 minutes in Brussels. It's the B side. So the A side is 21 and a half minutes in Berlin. The B side, 23 minutes in Brussels. This is Wiki. This is fascinating. Documents a live performance by Suicide on June 16th, 1978 at the Ancien Belgique in Brussels. I guess that's the venue where they played in Belgium, while supporting Elvis Costello and The Clash. Before Suicide even starts playing, booing can be heard from the crowd, indicating that they wanted to hear the main act, Elvis Costello, straight away. Suicide is introduced and begins to play Ghost Rider. Once it ends, there's booing from the crowd. The second song is Rocket USA. After that, at roughly 9:30, the audience can be heard chanting Elvis, Elvis. This attitude continues through the third and fourth songs, Cherie and Dance, or Cherie and Dance. The audience becomes more active during the performance of Frankie Teardrop. At roughly 1930, loud applause can be heard. Someone steals Alan Vega's microphone. Alan is one of the two group members of Suicide. Someone can be heard. They took the mic. Shortly afterwards, the music stops and the promoter comes on, warning the audience that they don't give the microphone back, there'll be no show. Vega joins in, swearing at the audience. After receiving the microphone, he continues to sing Frankie Teardrop a cappella. After even more booing, Vega, I mean, he sounds like he was like confrontational and he didn't give a shit. And Vega shouts, "Shut the F up. This is about Frankie." A few minutes later, there's rapturous applause as the band leaves the stage. Later, Elvis Costello played a very short and angry set in which he made no secret of his outrage over Suicide's treatment by the crowd. This incited a riot. The show was canceled, and Vega's nose was broken. The story is detailed in the liner notes of the 2000 re-release. So, I mean, that is an amazing story. That's all from Wiki there. That is quite the story. So if I pull up the lyrics here, it begins with left my hotel in the city. Everything was clear and set. You were on your way and sitting pretty. That was just a bait and switch. Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer. Tell me, do you miss me? 23 minutes in Brussels. Why can't they just leave us alone? Are we going to get into a tussle? Cannot take an airplane home. Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer. Tell me, do you miss me? Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer. Tell me, do you miss me? And it just repeats that. Just repeats that. I mean, maybe I'm searching. I'm trying to make a connection, but I just, after what I just read, and the title of the song, and Suicide is a great band. Suicide's got some stuff. I was going to react to a couple of things on my own that I had heard a little bit, and I was just going to just react to them as kind of like solo stuff. And then I was thinking about maybe giving a couple to Andy. So I think John may know the band, or maybe not. But anyway, but that's a band I've really been sort of eyeing. And so now that this band comes up, and I don't know, I think they're writing about this concert. What do you think? Rick, tell me, what do you think? Am I right? I mean, like left my hotel in the city, right? So you could say that, the guys in the band, and actually let me just pull up because I have information about Suicide, just really briefly. 1970 through 2016, Alan Vega and Martin Rev. I think Alan has passed on. It was Alan who was kind of being very angry and not giving a F, and just singing their set. Yeah, and I'll get into this band more because we will do songs from them. But yeah, and they were in the 70s, right? A 70s band. I could just imagine seeing where, this band Luna might have been influenced by them and wanted to write about this, this famous incident. So if I look at the lyrics again, left my hotel in the city, and that could be Alan and Martin from Suicide. Everything was clear and set. So be talking about what's set, their song list, what they're going to play at the concert that night. You were on your way and sitting pretty. That was just a bait and switch. So that's it. Like, who's he talking about? Who was on their way and sitting pretty? And that was just a bait and switch. Oh, maybe the people who were going to the concert. So he's talking about the people maybe who actually attended that concert and who were complete assholes. And wow, you were on your way and sitting pretty. That was just a bait and switch. Like, in other words, Martin and Alan had no idea what they were walking into. Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer. Tell me, do you miss me? So after all that screaming and threats and getting punched out later at the end. Uh, what do you feel? How do you feel about that? Looking back on that, maybe that's what he's saying. Do you miss me? Say a prayer. Wow. 23 minutes in Brussels. Why can't they just leave us alone? Are we gonna are we going to get into a tussle? Cannot take an airplane home. So he got so I think it was Alan who got punched out, his nose broken. You can't fly, right? You can't fly in that condition. So he couldn't fly back home. Say a prayer for you and me. Say a prayer, tell me, do you miss me? Wow. I don't know. I I I am declaring right now, without knowing for sure, that that's what the song's about. And if so, that's just amazing. That's great. That's great songwriting, man. To that's why you should read. That's why you gotta you gotta be a person of the world. Gotta read a lot. You gotta um, you, you gotta be experienced. Go out and experience the world. Go out and see concerts and read books and go to bars. And go out and just enjoy your life and learn, live and learn and love. And you have a lot to write about. Wow. Okay, this is fantastic, Rick. Ah, man, I can't wait. I'm gonna just stop this right now so I can go back and listen to the song. Great choice. Great choice. What an amazing first song request on KoFi, man. You gave me a gift. Thank you, Rick. And for everyone else out there, really hope you enjoyed. Drop in comments. What do you think about the band Luna? What do you think about the song? If you love this band, tell me. Tell me like when you first heard them. Um, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite concert of theirs? And yeah, right on down the line. I need to know. I need to know more songs about this from this group. So feed me, people. Feed me information and songs. And with that said, I'll see every one of you in the next episode of Into the Music.